On the floor of Indo-Pacific reefs lies a killer almost no one can see, a fish so well camouflaged it becomes invisible, yet armed with the most potent venom of any marine animal. Its 13 venom-tipped spines can deliver agony so intense that victims describe it as fire and mutilation, and death can follow within hours. How could a creature this deadly remain hidden in plain sight? And what makes its attack so merciless in the ocean's balance of predators? The answer begins deep beneath the surface, where lethal adaptations await. 13 dorsal spines run the length of the stonefish's back, each one a weapon designed for a single purpose: to deliver venom deep into tissue. These are not ordinary fin rays. Each spine is thick, sharply pointed, and built with a deep groove or hollow running along its length. At the base of every spine, a pair of venom glands sits ready. When pressure is applied, like a foot stepping down, the spine is forced upward, piercing through skin, muscle, and even the soles of protective footwear. The stonefish's body compresses, squeezing the venom glands so that liquid toxin is forced up the groove and into the wound, much like a syringe. The physical force needed to trigger this mechanism is surprisingly low. Even a gentle brush can press a spine into flesh, but a full step can drive multiple spines in at once, maximizing the dose. The spines themselves are strong enough to punch through thick calluses or the rubber soles of standard reef shoes, making them a hazard even for experienced divers and fishers. Once the spine penetrates, venom is delivered almost instantly. The groove acts as a channel, carrying the toxin from gland to tissue in a single, unbroken flow. This system is purely mechanical. No conscious action by the fish is needed. The stonefish does not need to move or react. The hardware is always armed, always ready. That is why accidental stings are so common in shallow Indo-Pacific waters. The threat is not just chemical, but physical, a combination of robust, needle-like spines and a glandular pump that works on contact. Understanding the spine apparatus makes the danger tangible. It is not just the venom itself, but the delivery system. 13 spines, each one a direct line from hidden predator to victim. The next layer of risk lies not in the hardware, but in the molecular assault that follows, a cascade of toxins entering the bloodstream the moment the spine breaks the surface. Venom from a stonefish is more than a simple poison. It is a molecular assault engineered for devastation. The moment venom enters the body, a wave of protein toxins, enzymes, and small molecules begins to tear through tissues. At the heart of this biochemical barrage is stonefish, a protein complex that acts like a microscopic battering ram. Stonefish assembles into ring-shaped structures that punch holes or pores directly through the membranes of blood vessels, nerves, and muscle cells. Each pore is large enough to let a flood of ions and water rush in and out, destroying the delicate balance cells need to survive. Within seconds, red blood cells burst, nerves misfire, and blood vessels begin to leak. The result is immediate explosive pain and swelling, as if the tissue is being ripped apart from within. But stonefish is only the first wave. The venom also contains enzymes like hyaluronidase that break down the scaffolding between cells and allow the toxins to spread even faster. Metalloproteinases chew through the walls of blood vessels, increasing permeability and causing rapid bruising, blistering, and sometimes deep tissue death. C-type lectins and tissue factor inhibitors in the venom disrupt blood clotting and set off inflammation, adding to the chaos. Meanwhile, newly discovered small molecules such as GABA, choline, and O-acetylcholine interfere with nerve signals, heart rhythms, and muscle contractions. The combination leads to a cascade of symptoms. Skin turns red and swollen, pain radiates up the limb, and in severe cases, blood pressure plummets as the cardiovascular system begins to fail. This onslaught is not gradual. The molecular attack unfolds in minutes, often before help can arrive. Victims describe the pain as instant and overwhelming, far beyond what most marine stings can produce. The venom's ability to break down barriers and punch holes in cells explains why even a single stonefish sting can threaten life. Every component of the venom works in concert, ensuring that the damage is rapid, systemic, and if untreated, potentially fatal. What starts as a silent step on the reef can become a race against time, driven by a chemical arsenal perfected over millions of years. On a coral reef, the stonefish disappears in plain sight. The skin is rough and knobby, covered in warts and ridges that mimic the broken texture of rubble and dead coral. The colors, muddy browns, grays, and mossy greens, match the reef floor so closely that even trained eyes struggle to pick it out. Algae and tiny marine growths cling to its skin, blurring the line between animal and rock. Over time, these epibionts build up, adding flecks of green and white that make the outline even more confusing. Camouflage is a matter of texture as much as color. Some stonefish lie partly buried in sand or rubble, using broad pectoral fins to shovel just enough substrate over their backs. Only the eyes and the tips of the dorsal spines remain exposed, peering out from a mound that looks no different from the debris around it. Stillness is the final layer of disguise. A stonefish can remain motionless for hours, sometimes days, barely twitching a fin. Even the regular movement of breathing is subtle, just a faint ripple along the gill covers. This behavioral stillness is as important as any color or texture. In the underwater world, movement is often the first sign of life, the thing that gives away a predator. By refusing to move, the stonefish lets the reef's chaos wash right over it. Small fish and crustaceans pass within centimeters, unaware of the threat. Divers and snorkelers searching for stonefish often fail, even when one is right in front of them. Marine biologists have tested this with photographs, asking viewers to spot the fish before revealing its outline. Most people miss it entirely. In shallow water where light flickers and shadows dance, the illusion is nearly perfect. The risk is not just to prey, but to humans as well. Most stonefish stings happen because someone steps on what they think is a harmless rock. Mark McGruther, senior curator of ichthyology at the Australian Museum, says you could be looking right at one and never know it. Deception explains much of the stonefish's deadly success. This camouflage does not rely on fast color change or active mimicry. Instead, it is the result of millions of years of evolution, static patterns, rough skin, and a patient, motionless posture. The stonefish's invisibility is its greatest weapon, turning the busy reef floor into a hunting ground where danger waits, silent and unseen. A stonefish waits, hidden in the rubble, almost indistinguishable from the reef itself. When a small fish or shrimp drifts too close, the stillness ends in a fraction of a second. The stonefish's mouth snaps open, expanding its buccal cavity like a piston. This sudden movement creates a powerful vacuum, pulling water and anything within a few centimeters straight into its jaws. High-speed studies of similar ambush predators have measured the suction strike at 15 to 20 milliseconds. That is faster than the blink of a human eye, faster than most prey can even register danger. Inside the mouth, a rapid expansion of soft tissue and bone generates negative pressure, drawing prey in before it can react. The strike zone is unforgiving. Once a fish or crustacean crosses that invisible boundary, escape is nearly impossible. The stonefish does not need to chase or wrestle. Its entire feeding apparatus is tuned for a single explosive movement, delivering prey from open water to the back of the throat in a single gulp. Biomechanics experts describe the stonefish as a model of predatory efficiency. The jaws open wide, the floor of the mouth drops, and the sides flare out, all in a coordinated burst. Water rushes in at such speed that prey are swept along, swallowed whole before their muscles can even fire. The capture radius is surprisingly small, just a few centimeters, but within that range, the odds are stacked entirely in the predator's favor. This is not a battle of endurance or agility. It is a contest decided by physics, by the raw power of suction and the precision of timing. The stonefish's strike is over before the outside world even notices. For the prey, there is no warning, no chase, and no second chance. The ambush is absolute. One moment of stillness, followed by a burst of motion that leaves nothing behind but a faint ripple in the water. Venomous marine animals are often compared by the sheer speed and severity of their effects, but few rival the stonefish when it comes to the combination of potency and frequency of human contact, and the range of systems attacked. In the Indo-Pacific, stonefish are a leading cause of severe marine envenomation. When measured against other infamous ocean dwellers, box jellyfish, cone snails, and blue-ringed octopus, the stonefish stands out as the most venomous fish known to science. Laboratory tests confirm that its venom is more toxic than that of lionfish, scorpionfish, or stingrays. Yet it is not just chemical strength that sets stonefish apart. The venom acts on multiple fronts. It inflicts instant, overwhelming pain. It destroys tissue. It disrupts blood flow. And it can paralyze muscles, including those needed to breathe. Box jellyfish deliver venom that can cause cardiac arrest within minutes, and their stings have resulted in many documented deaths, especially in northern Australia and Southeast Asia. Cone snails inject a cocktail of neurotoxins that can paralyze a human in under an hour, while the blue-ringed octopus uses tetrodotoxin, a molecule-for-molecule champion of lethality, capable of shutting down the nervous system and causing respiratory failure. But encounters with these animals are relatively rare. Stonefish, on the other hand, live exactly where people walk, wade, and swim. One misstep on a reef or sand flat can drive several dorsal spines deep into a foot, delivering enough venom to trigger excruciating pain, massive swelling, and, if untreated, potentially fatal collapse. This is why accidental contact is such a common route to injury. The clinical timeline is brutal. Victims report pain so intense it eclipses all other marine stings. Swelling and tissue damage spread in minutes. In severe cases, blood pressure drops, the heart falters, and breathing becomes labored. Without rapid intervention, death can occur within hours. The venom's complexity is unmatched among fish. It combines pore-forming proteins that rupture blood vessels, enzymes that dismantle tissue, and small molecules that scramble nerve and muscle functions. Professor Brian Fry, a leading venom researcher, notes that stonefish venom is unique in its ability to attack nearly every major system in the body at once. While antivenom and modern emergency care have reduced fatalities, the risk remains wherever stonefish and humans cross paths. No other fish matches the stonefish for the sheer breadth and immediacy of its threat. Its venom is less potent, dose for dose, than the deadliest jellyfish or cone snails, but the likelihood of accidental contact and the range of effects from agony to cardiovascular collapse make it the ocean's most dangerous fish. This multi-dimensional danger is what sets the stonefish apart, both in the eyes of toxinologists and in the lived experience of those unlucky enough to encounter it. A stonefish sting is a clinical emergency. It begins with agony and can end in tragedy if the response is too slow. The moment venom enters the body, pain explodes at the site, often driving victims to panic or into shock. In the Indo-Pacific, where most stings occur, the first priority is to get the victim out of the water and keep them still. Movement only speeds the spread of toxins through muscle and blood. Immediate first aid calls for immersing the injured limb in water as hot as the patient can safely tolerate, typically around 45 degrees Celsius. This is not a folk remedy. It is a proven intervention. The high temperature denatures venom proteins, blunting their destructive power and providing real relief. Many victims describe the pain dropping from unbearable to manageable within minutes of immersion, though the wound often remains swollen and angry. But hot water alone is not a cure. In severe cases, marked by rapid swelling, spreading numbness, or signs of cardiovascular collapse, hospital care becomes urgent. The window for antivenom is narrow. The sooner it is given, the more effectively it can bind free toxins in the bloodstream. In Australia, where stonefish antivenom has been available since 1959, clinicians administer it intravenously for systemic symptoms or when pain cannot be controlled. The antivenom is produced by immunizing horses with small doses of venom and then purifying the antibodies that neutralize the toxins. For most patients, one vial can halt the progression of symptoms, stabilize the heart, and spare tissue from further destruction. Delays, especially in remote areas far from hospitals, are linked to the worst outcomes, including tissue death, amputation, or fatal collapse. Professor Jamie Seymour of James Cook University emphasizes the critical timeline. You have about an hour to get hot water on and to start transport. Every minute counts. Field epidemiology from Northern Australia and Southeast Asia confirms this pattern. Victims who reach care within 2 hours almost always recover, while those stranded for longer face lasting damage. Emergency physicians emphasize careful wound cleaning, tetanus vaccination, and close monitoring for shock or respiratory distress. In rare cases, surgery is required to remove embedded spines or dead tissue. Modern protocols, when followed quickly, have transformed the prognosis. Fatalities are now rare where antivenom and supportive care are available. Still, the stonefish remains a test of readiness for coastal clinics and a clear reminder that in the race between venom and medicine, time is the only advantage humans can claim. On the crowded floor of a coral reef, the stonefish operates with a kind of ruthless efficiency that few predators can match. When a small fish or shrimp crosses that invisible line in front of its mouth, the outcome is almost always the same: the strike, powered by a rapid expansion of the buccal cavity, creates a vacuum strong enough to pull prey in before they can react. High-speed studies of related ambush predators confirm that once prey are within a few centimeters, escape is nearly impossible. The entire sequence, from the first twitch of the jaws to the disappearance of the victim, unfolds in less than a blink. Prey are swallowed whole, vanishing into the stonefish's gullet without struggle or delay. Field biologists and reef ecologists have long marveled at this predatory mastery. The stonefish rarely misses when prey enter its strike zone, not because it is faster than every other fish, but because its camouflage and patience bring the odds overwhelmingly in its favor. The fish can wait motionless for hours, sometimes days, conserving energy until the perfect moment arrives. This low-gear approach is more than a behavioral quirk. It is a metabolic strategy. Stonefish have a remarkably slow resting metabolism compared to active reef hunters. By minimizing movement and relying on ambush, they burn little energy between meals. This allows them to endure long periods without food, an advantage in the unpredictable world of the reef, where prey might be abundant one week and scarce the next. Aquarists and field researchers report that stonefish and similar ambush predators can go weeks between successful hunts. During these fasts, the fish show little sign of distress, simply waiting for conditions to change. Laboratory studies have even found that periods of starvation can alter venom production, a physiological adaptation that hints at how these animals manage the feast or famine cycles of their environment. For the stonefish, patience is not just a virtue, it is a survival tactic. By combining perfect camouflage, explosive predatory power, and a metabolism tuned for endurance, the stonefish has carved out a niche as one of the reef's most effective hunters. Its evolutionary toolkit is not about speed or stamina, but about waiting, striking, and surviving on the edge of invisibility. Today, the stonefish's venom is being studied for breakthrough medical treatments, even as its threat to divers remains real in Indo-Pacific waters. Its perfect camouflage and lethal spines remind us how evolution's deadliest designs often go unseen. In a world where curiosity meets caution, the line between danger and discovery grows thinner every day. Stay curious and stay alert.